When we were very young, life was centered around us. As we got into our teenage years, we got tired of life being about us. We wanted to get our freedom. And before we knew it, those crazy hormones kicked in. We soon meet someone, and our life begins to evolve from all about me into part me and part them. Some of us get married, and as a guy, we know what the world revolves around. Yes, dear. Soon, if we are blessed, we have a child or two. Our lives take a real turn. It is no longer about us, the wife and I. It is about them, the children. Yes, our life now revolves on the children. With a blink of the eye, our children grow up, and soon it is back to, yes, dear. What I have noticed is we get busy in our personal life. We get so focused internally, we do not have much time to focus outward. And this is where the term out of sight, out of mind comes in. It is always about us. When it is always about us, where does God fit in? Many of us are so focused about either the past or the future. As Jesus told us in today's gospel, do not worry about tomorrow. Tomorrow will take care of itself. As a family, we still communicate with Sunday night dinners, weekend visits, and of course the celebrations. But as life does so well, it changes our focus, and somehow, out of sight, out of mind, creeps in. And before you know it, the term "we only get together at weddings and funerals" is heard. So what happens to us after we give life our all? Several months ago, our dryer stopped working. Over the last 20 plus years, I really got good at fixing the issues with this dryer. Unfortunately, this time, the cost to fix it was too great, and to make matters worse, the washer went out the next day. One person's sadness is another person's happiness. When I told my wife we needed to buy a new washer and dryer, she already knew what she wanted and where we were going to buy it. I disconnected the old washer and dryer and dragged them to the sidewalk so they would be picked up when the new ones arrived. As I stood in my garage looking at the old washer and dryer at the curbside, I felt the saddest, loneliest feeling ever. Why am I feeling this way for two metal machines? They are not alive, no heartbeat, and they are old and unfixable. Then it hit me. This washer and dryer kept our family clean for over 20 years. It took the wrinkles out of our clothes for those times we needed to wear that particular outfit that had fallen to the bottom of the closet. These machines were a benefit to our family. And since they no longer benefiting us, I was putting them to the curb, out of sight, out of mind. Since my ordination, I have been going with my friends Marilyn and her husband Michael to bring communion to those Catholics at a rehab nursing home here in Fremont. Has anyone ever thought of what your golden years would be like? What happens to us after we give life our all? Should we not be enjoying the rest of our lives until we meet our Creator? Whenever I go and visit my friends at the rehab nursing home, I see people in wheelchairs, sitting outside the room, just like my washer and dryer sitting at the curb. The difference is the people have a heartbeat. They want to be talked to. They are lonely, feeling discarded, fearful, and many angry. They are suffering for attention, while some feel isolation and forgotten, out of sight, out of mind. In the first reading today, we learn that God will never forget us. And this is what I tell those living in this environment. I was talking with this one lady. who was strapped in a wheelchair out in the hallway. She explained to me what losing her freedom means. She says not being able to wear anything she wants to wear. She has to wear what they put on her. Her once large closet is now a small drawer. Her past life is several old pictures of a happy time taped to her wall above the dresser. Her family lives far away, and she hardly sees anyone from outside her environment. As Christians, what is our responsibility for her and the many others who are trapped in their environments? We need to get God back into our sight. And once we do that, our actions will remind them and us to trust in God. Out of sight, to me, is the elderly not seeing God's hands and eyes at work. How many of us know of an elderly couple, widow or widower, that live in our neighborhood? How can we be the hands and eyes of Christ? If you have an elderly neighbor that you hardly see, introduce yourself. Enjoy a conversation. Maybe give them your phone number if they ever need something. It feels like spring. Maybe your child could offer to mow their lawn, pull some weeds, or help them with our new technology today. No charge, just being a great young adult. Call or visit regularly, especially if the person is in a nursing home. Conversation is the greatest way for people to feel alive. Mealtime can be a lonely time for a single elderly person. Many people in their golden years are barely making it between food, bills, and medicine. Maybe invite them for Sunday night dinner or a cup of coffee to chat. If you're going to the store, you may want to ask your neighbor if they need anything. Or on Sundays, see if they want to go to church with you. Golden years should not make us afraid or fearful of tomorrow. God never fails us, but humanity can. We should always trust in God and thank Him for all His blessings each day. God is always there for each one of us. We sometimes just need to look outward and upward and let God enter our minds and hearts so God can guide us in our actions, and through these actions, we help ourselves and others. Their mind will tell them that God has them in His sight. Who in our lives is out of sight and out of mind? As Pope Francis stated in The Joy of the Gospel, serve others as I have served you. By the way, tomorrow night at 7 o'clock, here at Holy Spirit in D'Souza Theater, Phil Maher, one of our own, will be doing a talk on the book, Joy of the Gospel. Invite a neighbor or a friend.